Hey, all you Arizona lovers, this is the Fighting Arizona podcast, episode number 411. I'm your host, Jose. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Today's episode is with Ryan Miller, who is the co-founder of Peerlogic. I'm very excited to share this episode with all of you. For one, I'm a big fan of artificial intelligence and technologies and tech companies, but for two, it is involving a kind of our state and healthcare, and also it's a native of Arizona who wants to bring light to something that isn't looked at a lot, which is bringing tech and putting together tech and healthcare. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. As always, please check out the bio and the links below. We want you guys to stay connected with everyone who comes in through our doors. So doing so will help them get recognized, but also it'll show you that we can build a community off these episodes and we can share their stories and not only continue to shout them out and make sure that you guys are staying connected with them through those links. And that'll lead me right into a little bit of the businessy side. You can hear every episode of our podcast at findingarizonapodcast.com. Everything under social media is under Finding Arizona Podcast. And as always, we are wanting to promote our service arm of what we do here, which is what we call the Found House. If you want to work with us, if you want to build something with us, you can do so and check out all of that, what we provide. And if you've been watching our social media, we have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes with going to events and making sure they're promoted and advertisements and all these things. But we also at the end of the day want to share those stories that don't get so much light in the modern day, and we want to share them because they're important. They need to be heard, and they're so fascinating to me at least, and I hope that you guys feel the same exact way. That being said, I hope that you guys have been enjoying these episodes. I know I have been enjoying making them and creating them. We have a lot to share with you. 602 Day went down without a hitch. It was so great to share those stories and be able to be a part of that event. I hope you guys got to partake in one of the many events going on around the valley, and I hope that also you guys are staying in touch with us because we have a lot of events that we're going to over the summer. My little guy has a lot of birthday parties that he's going to be involved with. I hope that we get to really again experience the Valley in Arizona on a new level of parenthood. That is always something that I've always been wanting to, examine as a father. And now that he's a little bit older, the 3 and 4 range, the toddler range is very unique. I hope that we can share those stories and show light to those places where parents can go to for toddlers during the summer months, also during, the next couple of holiday seasons, and share with you guys those really great places for families. So that being said, let's just jump right into this episode number 411 with Peerlogic. I hope to see you on the next one. Catch you later. Score big with SeatGeek. Whether it's concerts, sports, or live events, SeatGeek has you covered. Use code FIGHTINGArizona to get a fantastic $20 discount on your SeatGeek tickets. Catch your favorite live events hassle-free with extra savings. Visit SeatGeek.com and make every experience unforgettable.
The first couple of hiccups, especially being a tech company, you just want to avoid those certain hiccups, and being part of the fact that Arizona has brought that kind of community together. And really, I felt like from the get-go of leaving college, there's something very special about Phoenix and Arizona in general wanting to really promote inward and really want to foster local business and really bring it up from the roots of where they come from. It's fantastic. It's really great.
Well, I'm a native here. I'm 5 generations. So
wow, congratulations! You're
4 generations. My daughter's 5. So.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
But I assume her identity of it.
Yeah, that's great though, because you're actually the second person we've had on here that can actually admit that and just be, that's really great. To me, that's wonderful. Because the first person, her great great grandfather has a statue in Mesa. Like, it's kind of crazy because he started one of the first, I guess, what is it? What do they call it back then? Like, store, like a general store. And so his statue's like over by the town center and stuff like that. It's crazy.
We have a few roads named after us up in Prescott area.
There you go.
Because you think back in like the early 1900s.
Yeah,
Prescott was
the boom town.
Was the capital, right?
Yeah,
so that's naturally where the family ended up.
That's incredible. Well, that's really great that you're now fostering something even deeper and really pushing your family's legacy forward like that.
We hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, I'm hoping in Arizona too, as a whole. Like we've made a big focus to hire in Arizona, to bring talent into Arizona. So it's been maddening for me over the last couple of years to know that we have like all these great schools. Like we have Arizona State, Grand Canyon State. I went to NAU, so I'll give NAU a shout. But U of A. But yet we haven't fostered any great new companies. We matriculate 50,000 kids a year, but they're not staying in Arizona. They're just
coming and then going.
We see it as a great opportunity for us. Like we're gonna go out and snag some absolutely amazing talent.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys. And so let's get into it. Ready?
We are ready to go.
Awesome. So just casual conversation. We'll kind of keep it to us, and then certain bits we'll just look at the camera and stuff like that. So ready? 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody, to the Finding Arizona podcast. I'm your host, Jose, and as always, we bring in fantastic guests every week, and today is no different. I would love to introduce Ryan here, and Ryan is actually co-founder. Okay, co-founder of, I want to say it right, Peerlogic?
Correct.
Awesome. Great. Peerlogic, which is a technology company. And I'm going to let Ryan here give a little bit more insight, just because I don't want to, stumble upon my introduction to this. But I'm very excited for our conversation about Peerlogic and just what you guys have to offer.
Well, I appreciate that. Just at a high level, Peerlogic, I mean, our mission is to fundamentally transform the way we communicate with our medical providers.
Yes.
Today, with like AI, with some of the new technologies that we're seeing released every month, we can solve some problems that have been dogging us for years.
Yeah.
Example, I can't tell you how many times that an average person would want to reach out to their dentist or their medical provider, and try to get instant information.
Yeah.
And that's what we're solving for. Awesome. We're providing 24/7 access to your medical providers, through conversational intelligence.
That's awesome. And so we're going to, again, go into those each individual pieces there. But first, I asked this question of a lot of the entrepreneurs that come in through our doors, and just give us a little bit of your origin story, because from what we've been told, that this wasn't really the realm that you were going for, and it's just kind of stumbled upon, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, so I had a company that I exited in 2011.
Okay.
After that time, I took a couple of years off, met my wife. It was amazing.
Awesome.
And didn't quite know what to do yet next. Ended up going to work for a tech startup here in the Valley.
Okay.
And was amazed by their growth, right? It was Nextiva down in Scottsdale. Fantastic growth. They were one of the fastest growing companies I'd ever been a part of. One thing that they were uniquely talented at was how they were able to process leads coming in and out of the sales organization.
Nice.
My wife works in dentistry.
Okay.
And so while I was amazed by all the technology and all the advancements that Nextiva was bringing to bear, using great technologies like Gong and Salesforce and Outreach and things like that. My wife worked in dentistry, and our natural conversations, you'd find that none of that existed in medical. To the contrary, typically when you'd see, when the phone would ring, the front office staff is busy. There's somebody in front of them. It could be a burden, right? Opposed to it being an opportunity for a new patient or to service an existing patient. And that's kind of like where we connected the dots. Yeah. My wife and I talked about it for months, talked to hundreds of dentists, and Peerlogic was ideated.
That's incredible, because again, when I bring up this particular question, it's really a kind of a individual thread line of how the beginnings of something can really be spontaneous, and the growth of an idea can come from anywhere. And really what I was just like, again, encouraged by, because I never expected myself to be a podcaster. I started this before.
What was your genesis?
So yeah, I was actually in grad school and I was listening to podcasts, but at the same time I was doing screen printing t-shirts for business owners and all kinds, the landscapers, the guys, the beer companies and stuff like that. But my real joy was in that process of, getting what they wanted done. I got to talk to them and understand their story and just really kind of understand what they're passionate about. And really one of the best things was like getting to know the owner and be like, hey, why do you do this for a living? Like, what's important about, what brings you joy about this? And a lot of them were just fantastic conversationalists, fantastic storytellers. And for me, growing up on the reservation, I was always encouraged and kind of, taught to listen to the elders, to the stories that make up our tribe. And that really was the genesis into evolving into a listener and conversationalist with others. And it helped me really kind of say, hey, look, I like what I do when I talk to these owners. And they always feel the same way. Like they have kind of like this kind of relief or this joy of like telling someone about their business. So for me, it was like 1 and 1 equals 2. And that was, okay, well, maybe I'll just start something, which is a podcast. And that came from listening to them. And I was just like, okay, well, I got to figure this out. Get the microphones, get all of the tech stuff under my belt and learn the process and just jump right into it. So that was kind of how this
That's
all
awesome.
came to be. And it snowballed. I met my wife along the way. I told her about my little podcast, and she was very like excited to understand it and what it was about. And she herself was a business owner at the time and really thought that it could be built more into, having some legs underneath it and starting a business behind it. And without her, I wouldn't have a lot of what we've done today, which is the 400 episodes plus.
So many episodes.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
It's been great, and it's really a joy to kind of see the city grow at the same time through the lens of understanding the business owners.
8 years? Is that about 8 years?
8+ years, yeah.
Oh, that's
like
amazing.
Almost like 9 or 10 since 2015, something like that.
9 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're very excited, but I'm also just kind of a nerd, tech nerd at the same time. I really found technology as growing up a very beautiful thing that we can combine in with humans and find a level of like creation, beauty behind, building something with technology, and AI is one of them. And so I would love to understand your first moment of coming across artificial intelligence.
So when we initially started our building our platform, my co-founder is a genius. He's the technology guy. He's Alex Misconceptions.
How did you guys meet?
We had a common. So early on there was 3 of us, and
Okay.
I was introduced to Alex from one of our earlier partners.
Okay.
And he's absolute genius. So when we initially started building it, it wasn't to build an AI company.
Okay.
We were building to solve a problem.
Okay.
Like there was a problem that we saw in dentistry, and specifically dentistry.
Yeah.
While we're expanding out from there,
Nice.
initially it was that one vertical, and as we started to iterate on and build the platform more, we started to look at how AI could help solve some of these remote issues.
Got it.
And then eventually AI starts taking on more and more of a role. So we've been using AI as part of our core technology for about 3 years now.
Okay.
Which seems like a ridiculously small period of time.
Yeah.
But from where we started to where it is now,
Yes.
I can't even describe the growth.
Oh my gosh. Just from an outsider's perspective of like, someone who uses it sparingly and through, you've probably seen it, ChatGPT,
Sure.
some of these other chat bots that have come to light, the image processors, like image creativity. It's really beautiful, like, because the human language itself has so many opportunities for challenging the brain and having this level of like beauty of like, you can say something and have multiple meanings, but now you can bring that to technology to level it up and bring another through thread to like an image or, you know, an answer to your question or something like that.
And understanding natural conversation in its natural flow.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it just contextually speaking, like word for word, our conversation may sound weird.
Yeah.
But when you look at it in the flow of a conversation, it makes sense. And we get it, and your fans will get it.
Yeah, I think so. So you went from meeting, you know, your co-founder and having this level of like wanting to solve an issue. Now that you are where you're at right now, where I would love to understand just like the level of like, as a business owner, what triumphs you've gotten through, because one thing that I learned is that you guys just recently were given some money through VC.
Yeah. So when you first start a company, you're gonna make a decision, and it's gonna be: are we gonna be venture backed, or are we gonna go in and bootstrap this?
Yes.
Just looking at the landscape of technology, especially as it related to AI, it was almost impossible for us to do this on Alex and I funding the company.
Yeah.
So, and we are dedicated to growing a fantastic Arizona company. One thing that Arizona's lacked over the last couple of decades is like that explosion of exited companies, where you'd see like a PayPal or a Twitter or something like that, where it spun a bunch of little companies that spun off, right? Yeah. That event really hasn't happened in mass in Arizona.
Okay.
And because of that, there hasn't been a big VC market either. That's starting to shift. You're starting to see more VC capital come in, and more, and more technology startups come about, even without that explosion.
Yeah.
When we started it, we're going to focus on the Arizona ecosystem. We're going to have our office here in Scottsdale. We're going to hire the best folks in Arizona. If the best folks aren't in Arizona, I'm going to fly on a plane and recruit them to come to Arizona.
Nice.
So, and I've been successful doing that. It's not a hard sell, especially in the winter.
Yes. Enough of this snowball.
Right. So when we raised our seed round, we raised, I think it's a little over $10 million. When all was said and done, and most of it was from Arizona VCs. Yeah. AZVC was our original lead. Yeah. They are fantastic. They're probably the largest fund in Arizona. Singularity in revenue. These are all Arizona-based VCs that came together to support us. And then we brought on Servant, but they're out of Silicon Valley.
Okay.
And they're fantastic at VC too, but largely is Arizona.
So that's incredible that you have been able to accomplish certain, just points of success and just bringing to light how much Arizona has to offer. I think that's wonderful. There's kind of a two-part question here, is like, one aspect of it was having to do with, what I read, what you were finding as a little bit of a challenge of finding the right types of employees to help you succeed with this technology, because they are out in bigger markets like Silicon Valley and stuff like that. Have you seen a change in that you're going out to, let's say, the different universities to seek those candidates out? And how much has it brought you joy to see those candidates coming from Arizona?
Yeah, it's so initially when I started the company, you're CEO and you're head of janitorial services. You're everything in between, right? But as you continue to grow, my job has largely changed to just finding the best talent. Yeah. And so I'm chief recruiter now. Nice. So I go out and I try to identify the best possible talent. A lot of times, most of the time, we're able to find that here in Arizona.
Great.
Now, AI is no longer a secret. Yeah. Most of the kids coming out of college now are diving into it. Their backgrounds are math. Their background, they're focused in writing in Python. So it's getting easier and easier to find good talent in the engineering side here in the Valley. But for looking for seasoned talents, I'm still burning jet fuel. I'm flying out, recruiting. Luckily, our head of data science was actually recruited. I think he came from Kansas City to Change Healthcare. Moved to Scottsdale, and we recruited him from Change. So that was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
That's really great. I love that there's also this kind of level of like a fondness for wanting to help change, like you said, the healthcare system. Because I mean, in recent kind of history, especially with the pandemic that just recently happened, there have been a lot of significant changes, and you can say that it's almost kind of like people are kind of really showing judgment towards the healthcare because they haven't been able to receive healthcare in the manner that they want.
It's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. There you go.
So if we look at it, healthcare has always been a lagging industry. It's slow to evolve. I think it's probably one step above government. As technology goes. I mean, small businesses, we can evolve fast. Okay. Whatever the latest technology is, we're adopting and we're iterating. Enterprise is a little slower and it gets bigger as you go down the chain.
Okay.
But it's an opportunity right now. When we look at some of the problems with healthcare, it's largely staffing. Mm-hmm. It's finding good staff. And after COVID came through and kind of ruined the front office for a lot of these small like medical offices, dental offices, even veterinarian clinics.
Yes,
they had a tough time rebounding.
Yeah.
This is a great opportunity for us to come in and we're not going to replace the front office staff, but to empower them to start doing some of those tasks that they do on a daily basis and provide better access to folks. Like now it should be easy for us to understand our health records, to interact with our doctors, and we should be able to do that anytime we want. And that's what we're focused on.
That's really great too, because the things that we keep bringing up and just kind of like these moments that as the individual person has the need for healthcare and the need for some kind of being the new patient is really great that you have this technology that, again, what we talked about off air is the accessibility and the availability of the doctor itself. And it's really these moments of like, I really am encouraged by yourself and by other owners that have like wanted to really help, again, make a change for the better for not only their customers, but overall the involvement and connection between the business owner and the patient.
Yeah, I mean, we're happy to do our little part. Yeah. And if it makes the three of our lives a little bit easier, we'll be happy, right?
Yeah.
We're just the tip of the sword. There's a lot of companies coming out, starting to put together health records, and we're just trying to streamline how you communicate with your practice.
Yeah.
Once we become more comfortable with sharing that data, who knows where healthcare will be in 5 years.
Yeah.
We're not even looking 20, 30 years anymore. Now, when we talk about what's the evolution of healthcare going to look like, it's not 20 years down the road. It's what's it going to look like in 3 years?
Yeah.
What's it going to look like in 5 years? Because I know what we've developed in 2 years, and it's so fast.
Yeah. So we had a conversation in the kind of the creation of the Peerlogic, and I would love to ask about your wife and how she feels now about where you guys stand and how much you've been able to take your idea and move forward into practical, and now even further than that, have a couple of clients that are using it more and more, and how she might like the conversation that you guys probably now have on a daily basis is different than what you started with.
She's I mean, one, if you have to, it's a joint effort. Like if you start a startup, your wife is in it every inch of the way, or your husband's in it every step of the way.
Yeah.
So it's all we talked about for years. My wife being in dentistry, I would go to her conferences.
Yeah.
She'd go to my conferences. It really consumed us. And now as the company starts to grow, she hasn't stepped back. She's still providing input on a daily basis.
Awesome.
What she sees in the field, she works for Patterson Dental.
Okay.
So what she sees out in the field, the changes she sees in dentistry, she relays it to us, and we bring that back into our product. So
that's awesome.
So while the scale of the organization's changed, her involvement is
still there.
Still there. She'll be giving me critiques on our podcast, I'm sure.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, again, it's like I think with any business, your significant other always has that kind of, your ear there for a little bit, where she's always there. They are always going to give you some kind of commentary of like how you should go about it or what it should be. Because I'll admit, without my wife, it would have gone off the rails a long time ago.
I don't even know if mine made it to the rails.
Yeah, exactly. But again, it's just I like to say she's the yin to my yang, where I'm the high creative and high thoughts and just really wanting to elevate on a grandiose scale. She is the practical, and she is the kind of step-by-step, let's make the right decision that really follows what we believe in and stuff like that.
I think you'd probably see that as a common thread amongst most founders. I look at my co-founder, Alex. His wife invested every bit as much as my wife and I did, right? She was in every step of the way, and we're more dreamers looking at the business, kind of blinders on. Yeah. They can help, keep us focused and guided. Yeah. So to me, that's a common thread that I've seen across almost all co-founders.
That's great. I'd love to also bring up the fact that, you guys are helping these groups of teams and in the world of dentistry and things like that, helping the front office. But you guys yourselves are a team of, coders and different tech individuals. I was reading your article, and I think that stood out to me as wanting a certain kind of culture to be cultivated in what you guys are doing. So I would love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so our team's growing too. I think we're at 42 folks now.
Nice.
So it's growing, and we're continuing to hire. We're looking for the best talent in Arizona. But so when we initially started, I think you have to get into like a rhythm of how you want. Culture is not something you can chat GPT and paint on the wall. It's got to be something that describes the group of people that are in there, especially early on. And early on, we'd probably made the mistake of hiring a few folks that weren't aligned with our culture.
Got it.
But they were skilled or they were specialized. Mm-hmm. And what we found is that what we're doing is so remarkably hard. Mm-hmm. What you're doing is remarkably hard. Starting a business and running it through is not an easy task. And when you're spending hours, more than half a day with these people, they better be aligned culturally. So we started prioritizing culture fit now on our hiring more than anything else. Yeah. And so if you start hiring for culture, I don't see how you can go wrong. And that's a mistake we made early on, but we're pretty hard now on that.
I like that, because again, we're talking about something that is, as some might say, cold-hearted, data-driven, and things like that as far as artificial intelligence go. But at the same, we are the people behind the artificial intelligence, and we're not driven through that kind of performance. There's a little bit of level of like warm fuzzies that we need to have.
Let's just say what it is. We want people hang out with people. Yeah. If you're spending 12 hours, you want to be around people that share the same passion, mission, that share the same interests and desires as you do.
Absolutely. So again, I really do appreciate you giving us your time, because I always found that, those tech, you kind of look at them, like you can hear the stories behind like, Apple heads and leadership and things like that, being so, busy and things as that. And you giving us your time is really important, because it really shows, one, your level of who you are as a leader with your company. So I'd love to just get it out there. You're native of, Phoenix, and just your family history of this. What do you think your great grandfather would or be saying to you about something as beautiful as combining technology and what a goal like this?
Weirdly enough, my family's always been in tech. Even my great grandfather.
Get out of here.
So he would probably be be happy that we kept the family path going.
Yeah.
So like my dad worked for Cisco Systems.
Get out of here.
His parents were in technology. My grandma worked for the phone company.
That's incredible.
Her parents worked for for Graham Bell.
That's incredible that you have that kind of family history.
All
like
here
that.
in the Valley.
Wow. That blows my mind actually, because you would think, a lot of like technology is newer and just kind of, but you look back at it and the fact that you have that.
Graham Bell made the first phone call in the 1800s, right?
Exactly.
So that was tech.
Wow. That was beautiful.
So we've been evolving from that phone call ever since.
Yeah. And another through line there is human language.
That's right.
And then how beautiful that is and how it can now transpire with artificial intelligence.
That's right. We were the first original language model.
Yeah. Oh, this is cool to me because it is, again, we're trying to connect you guys and your business with these different story elements. And I think that's really incredible that you can have and say these types of things. And I just really think it's a great connector in the storytelling of Peerlogic.
Yeah, we're hoping we can do our little part to, just like you are, to bring a light to what we think is the best state in the country, one of the best areas in the world. And we're trying to build we want to be that great tech company to come out of Arizona. We've had some good ones, but we haven't had that one
stands out.
That one stand out. I guess GoDaddy would argue that.
I think they would scream that from the rooftops.
They would too. And Carvana did pretty well. So, but we are on a mission to not only do well, for ourselves, but I want to see, our measure of success is how many companies are started up or started outside of Peerlogic.
Yeah.
How many former Peerlogic employees go out to start their own companies, and how do we become a part of that?
I think it'll be a great showing of what your culture brings too, from the fact of what you're saying with what your employees will go off to do, not only on their own, but maybe just what they build within the culture itself. I think it's really great that you want to show, again, what I have always believed in is how the amazing Arizona has been, will be, and has to offer. And I'd love to ask you this because I've said I was a tech nerd, but I'm also kind of this lover and historian of Arizona, and just seeing the growth not only here in the Valley, but around the world of tech. And, you start to see the Taiwanese company come in and start to build, this kind of really backing behind technology, and your perspective of like this growth of wanting more tech to be here in Arizona.
I wish it would be less about manufacturing and more about software development.
Yes.
But hey, we'll take it where we can get it. Like, it's not a bad thing having a bunch of great data engineers over at guys drew a blank. Intel.
Oh yeah. There's a lot coming this way. Actually.
Right. So there's a ton. Hopefully that will bring in more. Because they're going to do their part to give back to the community. I have no doubt that they will bring in funds that will help, and accelerators and incubators that will help tech companies here. I just hope it's not just solely focused around manufacturing. It's a lot of it's around software, but there are some good companies moving here too. Like, I was about to out one that hasn't moved here yet, but there are some great companies that are moving to Arizona because we have a great college system. We have a great tax system. I think the secret in Arizona is coming out.
Yeah. We are now going, and this is just a self plug because the 602 day is right around the corner for us, but it's the growth of the city and just how culturally significant it's been for the Phoenix Valley to celebrate itself and just what it's been able to accomplish the last 10 plus years of growth, and just this significant, because I'm a Native American on my mom's side, and I grew up on an Indian reservation up north. It's it's even from that perspective of just how small one group can be, but how big this state has so much to offer in its beauty, and just listening to the different stories, because there are almost 25 plus tribes here, and even they all have their own significant stories in the valley and their connections to Arizona. And it's just incredible to see how culture is a big vital point for Arizona.
Yeah, I agree, and we draw from that too, right? Like we're trying to draw from all aspects of Arizona.
Yeah,
it being from, we help as much as we possibly can, bring in interns from disadvantaged areas. We try to help bring college kids up to speed.
Yeah,
they know it all when they graduate. We kind of curve that out a little bit, and so Arizona itself, every aspect of it has something beautiful, and we want them all to be, part of the Peerlogic team eventually.
Absolutely. So I really wanted to get into a little bit of like misconceptions really quickly about artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And you had, in your kind of article write-up, you had brought up kind of the outputs that are not always correct from artificial intelligence. And we've kind of seen stories like that throughout different ChatGPTs and all the image processors and things like that. I would love to understand from your perspective on that kind of misconceptions for artificial intelligence, and how your company are striving to not only correct them, but hopefully be able to teach and educate users and clients about those.
Yeah, I think we probably have some of that. We have a lot of that same problem, right? We work in the communication side, so most of what we run through is natural language, human communication, and it's hard to understand human communication, because we do a lot of inflection, we overtalk, it may seem rude to talk over somebody, or it could also show excitement or interest, and a lot of times artificial intelligence is not picking that up, and it will give wrong intents, wrong sentiments. But are you like referring to like how are we finding bias in our system?
Yeah.
We keep a pretty close review of our language models.
Okay.
There's probably going to be bias in there. We're so new that we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
We are all responsible for the outputs.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually we'll see something that probably was a little, as you said, off the rails. In one of our outputs, but at our size, we're able to keep it pretty contained.
Yeah.
But if you look at the larger organizations, OpenAI, those folks, I don't know the answer.
No, it's okay.
I don't know the answer. I think we're going to keep on training.
Yeah.
Keep on iterating. Keep on training.
Yeah. I think one of the cool things is that you guys do bring out the education modules for the clients to help educate themselves and learn the process and the user interface as well.
Yeah, we have a ton of, our onboarding is robust. So we spend time. We want to make sure that it's not overwhelming what the software does. We've simplified it. Our AI is called Amy. And Amy does jobs for you. Yeah. And you get to determine what job you want Amy to do. Maybe you want Amy to go and confirm all the appointments from you today.
Yeah.
Maybe you want Amy to if somebody misses a call, to go out and have communications on your behalf.
Yeah.
Or maybe you want Amy to review the performance of your front office.
Got it.
So Amy to us is just is a piece of the front office. Is somebody that you hire to do a job.
Nice.
So if we were to see like any type of bias, it would probably be on some of the interpretation.
Okay.
I'm excited to see where that when that comes about.
Yeah. And it just takes like from just your website and just reading that off, it was just like it just takes a small amount of data, like 30 days to help start to now coordinate and help those different factors to help increase profit and things like that?
If that, we've ran hundreds of millions of minutes of conversation across our platform.
Nice.
We have thousands of dental offices using our service. So we've heard, I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to say it anyways.
Okay.
I am pretty sure we've heard every possible iteration of a conversation between a front office and a patient.
Yes. So, okay. Awesome.
I mean, from the bizarre to the wacky.
That's really funny.
We've heard it all. So at this point, we feel pretty confident that we're going to get this right.
Yeah.
So within 30 days, we're going to be able to give you good
cool.
usable data.
That's really cool. Like just the fact that you guys have that, and it's just retained all in one area where it's like it's constant.
And there's a ton of data there that a lot of stuff that we haven't, like we don't monetize, but we find interesting, we share back to the community. Like we can identify, like if a brand's been mentioned over another brand, if you've seen brand value go up, or if you've seen a big increase of people calling in sick in a certain area. To say in rural Georgia, we see, a bunch of folks canceling their appointments because of COVID.
Nice.
So we can see that before like the, National Institutes of Health. And so there's a lot of information we haven't started to really harness in there that we do pull reports on.
Would that, and this kind of really this is kind of more of like, now we're talking about the level of like information gathering versus information delivering, where it's like, once you gather that and you start to see those trends, do you guys yourself, or does Amy send out, like, let's say notifications to the user area, or specifically when those trends start to come about?
We de-identify all our data. So we wouldn't know who said it.
Okay.
We would say that this cohort of folks, we've seen this uptick.
Okay.
And we have pretty strict HIPAA guidelines to follow.
Yeah, that's what I was like worried about. But it's like it's so incredible that those trends do tend to happen, and that you can provide it, but it's like, how much information can you provide?
Right. And I mean, part of our data science team, one of their major challenges, and will always be, not to bring in personal information into what we do.
Yeah. So
because we have access to all the patient records at a dental office, so we don't want to train our models on that. That won't be part of it. So so we make sure that those two things are completely separate. But at the same time, if we're bringing in insurance data and tying that to certain types of healthcare events happening, we can start to bring that back into the larger conversation.
Nice. Awesome. Well, I really am very fascinated, again, more into the world of artificial intelligence. I really do appreciate you giving me just a little bit of your time.
Hey, I tell you what, if you ask a founder to come over and talk about their business, an hour goes by fast.
I know, right? It is incredible what you have to offer us. And I just really encourage others to go check out what you guys do and how one might be able to get your services and things like that. I just have one last kind of question, and it kind of orients towards goal setting and just goals in general. And one of the things that we always kind of pivot to is just, what can our audience do to help you guys out?
Obviously support us. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So if you're a dentist or you have teeth, talk to your dentist and introduce them to Peerlogic. More than that, if they're in Arizona and they're looking to get into the technology field, looking to get into AI, reach out to us. We're hiring for all types of roles. We're looking for fantastic Arizona talent to help build this next generation.
Sounds great. I love that. And now is the part where I let you do the promoing of where they can find you online, or your email, or anything that you want to just share with others. If there's a significant event that you guys are going to be at that you want people to come check you out at, it's your time to shine. Take it away.
Oh, well, so now events, we're in 1,000 events, but you can find us at peerlogic.com. That's PEER, peer-to-peer, peerlogic.com. And from there, you can get us on any of the forums. I'm trying to think, is there any events that were coming up right now? I just drew a blank. I can't think of it.
No, it's okay. Absolutely fine. And I do, again, it really, when I have someone of your status come in and share their story, but really just share it from a personal perspective, it really does mean a lot to me, because again, storytelling has always been a part of my world. And I love the fact that you're a native that really finds the love and joy that I find from where we live and grew up around, but B, you're someone who really does care and really wants to make it.
I appreciate you.
Big, significant.
You putting the spotlight on Arizona companies, helping us out.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And a little bit of our outro. You can hear every episode of our podcast at findingarizonapodcast.com. All of our social media under Finding Arizona Podcast. And we end every conversation with a kisses, hugs, and belly rubs to our four-legged friends. And we'll see you next time. Bye.